So John Meacham and David Ignatius just posed a question, where is the United States? I'm going to ask you, who is the United States? Take in tandem, if you will, what we've been talking about this morning, the deeply political score-settling speech from President Trump at DOJ on Friday, which also included the threats towards the free press. And then this appears to be a defiance of a court order and violation of due process for political points to move to disappear these immigrants from the United States to harsh conditions elsewhere. Just do what you do so well. Please just tell us what this means.
Well, the fact that a law that was passed in 1798 is at the heart of this moment goes straight at the question you asked, Jonathan, which is, who are we? This is part of who we are. In 1798, the Adams administration passed the Alien Act, the Sedition Act, which suppressed dissent. And it was part of an era that led to, or was the creation of the partisan system, ferociously opposed to each other. Jefferson and Madison were on one side, President Adams was on the other, and Jefferson and Madison thought of it as a reign of witches. So, and the first election we had in this country that was about making America something it had been before was in 1800, when Jefferson ran on the question of, can we recover the spirit of 76? Or are we going to be this federalist, powerful government that can undercut the implications of the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights, the Constitution? So the fact that we have been this before and always are doesn't make this moment any easier, doesn't make it any more congenial. I would argue it actually makes the stakes clear and the task of citizenship certain, which is, if you believe that the country is defined by the degree to which it adheres to the Declaration of Independence and its implications, or the degree to which it falls away from them, we have a pretty clear test. And the eras that we celebrate in this country, and I think this is really important, the eras that we celebrate are eras where we have expanded the definition of what it is to be an American, not eras in which we've constricted it. And so I agree with what was said a moment ago about the political, I don't want to say genius necessarily, but the political reality of the moment is going to be the administration, either by design or luck, it doesn't really matter which, has created a context in which those who want to argue for the rule of law are going to appear as though they're saying, yeah, let's have a bunch of gang members running around, right? It's just, it's a total loser politically. But think about what we've talked about. The Alien Act is almost always invoked, and we tend to regret it, right? It was what was behind the Japanese internment of Japanese Americans in the Second World War. It's something that goes straight at what I think is the heart of the era, which is the American presidency has the means of immense power. And so it matters enormously. I would argue it's determinative, more important than any particular policy, to know the character of the person to whom you are entrusting these immense powers. The American people knew what they were doing in 2024. They made a decision that a lot of us regret and argued against. But it was the decision they made. And now they have to decide what kind of era do they want to live in.
So well said, John. And a follow-up, if I may. We seem to be, as we've been talking about for the last 20-odd minutes, heading up to a collision course here between the executive branch and the judiciary branch. What can history tell us about previous moments when that has occurred? What should we be looking for? How worried should we be?
I think we should be very worried. The rule of law has managed to prevail, often by the skin of its teeth. Even the fabled line of Andrew Jackson's, which he did not utter, that John Marshall has made his decision, now let him enforce it. That was something that was invented later. But Marshall was a great politician. He was a great Chief Justice. He understood how to keep the Constitution at the center of the drama without going nose to nose with the executive. So it matters about the judges matter here and how they want to frame decisions. And fundamentally, the question is, will President Trump decide that he's going to follow the checks and balances, or are we going to permanently rupture this very delicate mechanism that we have? Because it is delicate. It is very delicate. It's about, it's not just the substance of the law or the letter of the law. It's about the spirit of the law. And I think that if this becomes the test, then we've had it earlier than I thought we'd have it. I thought it would come this year, but not quite so quickly. Question is, are we a government, to quote Gerald Ford, are we a government of laws, or are we a government of men, and more to the point, of a single man? That's the question we're going to have to answer.
John Meacham, thank you very much. And David Ignatius, if you could stay with us, we're going to expand this conversation to Ukraine in just a moment. A quick look at the weather before we go to break. At least 40 people